You see, life was never designed for you to please everyone. Some of you are destroying your purpose because you're too busy trying to keep people comfortable with your presence. Being too friendly can become a curse when it starts costing you your destiny. Let me tell you today, if you don't set boundaries, you will become a victim of your own kindness. Some of you wonder why your words no longer carry power in the rooms you enter. You sit among people and share great ideas, but no one listens, no one responds, and you feel invisible. Let me tell you why. It's because being too friendly has weakened your voice. Life does not respond to people who are desperate to be liked. It responds to people who stand rooted in who they are. Imagine this. Every morning, you walk into your office smiling, greeting everyone, making small talk, laughing even when their jokes aren't funny, agreeing when you don't believe in what's being said. You think you're building bridges, but in reality, you're building walls around your influence. People start to see you as the person who will never challenge them, never correct them, never say no. They see your friendliness as an indication that you can be bent in any direction. And when people think they can bend you, they will never truly respect you. Think about the lion. It is not the largest animal in the jungle, neither is it the fastest or the smartest. But the lion has a presence. It doesn't approach the antelope with friendliness. It approaches with authority and clarity of intent. When the lion roars, the entire jungle stands still. What about you? When you speak, do people stand still, or do they continue scrolling their phones while nodding to you absent-mindedly? Your roar has been replaced with a weak whisper because you traded your authority for acceptance. I have seen people lose their destinies because of this. A young woman once told me she agreed to work extra hours for free because she didn't want her boss to think she was rude. Another man said he let his business partner take full credit for their idea because he didn't want to seem arrogant. And now they sit frustrated, watching others climb ladders they themselves built. Why? Because being too friendly made them quiet when they should have spoken, passive when they should have acted. People are not inspired by friendliness alone. They are inspired by strength wrapped in honor. Imagine a doctor who laughs nervously while explaining your diagnosis because he wants you to like him. You won't trust him. Imagine a teacher who never corrects your wrong answers because she wants to be your friend. You will remain ignorant. Imagine a pilot who lets the passengers vote on whether to fly into a storm or not because he wants to be liked. That is the danger of being too friendly. It silences the voice of authority within you. You must understand this about life. Your voice is your power. When you lose your voice, you lose your influence. When you lose your influence, you lose your impact. And when you lose your impact, you begin to feel empty because deep down, every human being is created to influence something greater than themselves. People may enjoy your friendliness, but they will never follow your leadership if your voice is weak. Friendliness becomes dangerous when it overrides your convictions. The world does not need people who merely smile and nod. It needs people who stand tall with their words, whose presence commands a shift in the atmosphere. People who, when they speak, others pause and reflect. People who are friendly but firm, loving but truthful, humble but unshakable. That is how your voice carries power. If you keep giving pieces of yourself away just to be accepted, there will come a day when nothing remains to offer your purpose. You will become like salt that has lost its flavor, still there, but no longer impactful. Being too friendly turns you into an option instead of a priority. It turns your words into background noise instead of instructions for transformation. Your voice was not given to make everyone comfortable. It was given to communicate your assignment on this earth. In your family, at your job, in your relationships, observe closely. Notice how people treat your words. Do they dismiss them? Do they interrupt you constantly? Do they laugh at your suggestions? It is not because your words lack value. It is because your excessive friendliness has told them you do not value your own words enough to protect them with boundaries. You teach people how to treat your voice by how you treat your own convictions. Imagine a well. People draw water from it daily. But what if the well never gets refilled? One day it dries up. Being too friendly is like giving out water without guarding your source. Your words are water for someone's desert. Your ideas are seeds for someone's barren land. Your wisdom is light for someone's darkness. If you allow people to walk all over you just because you want to remain liked, you will watch your own purpose rot under the feet of those you tried so hard to please. Your voice matters. It is the roar that wakes up a sleeping generation. It is the trumpet that announces a new era in your family line. It is the sound that attracts divine provision and alignment. But if you keep weakening it with the chains of excessive friendliness, you will remain unheard, unseen, unfulfilled. You don't have to be rude, but you must be rooted. You don't have to be harsh, but you must be firm. You don't have to be arrogant, but you must be confident. Because life bows not to the friendliest, but to the boldest who stand for what they were created to declare. Some people wonder why they keep attracting betrayal, disappointment, and pain from the very people they give their best to. Let me tell you today, being too friendly attracts the wrong relationships. You see, when you carry yourself like an open door, anyone can walk in, including thieves, destroyers, and manipulators. Life demands that you guard your access because not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions for you. Imagine a house with no gates, no locks, no fences. Anybody passing by can walk in, sit down, drink water, eat food, sleep on the couch, and leave without gratitude. Now imagine another house, guarded, fenced, only those with purpose and invitation can enter. Which house will be respected more? Which house will be preserved from thieves? Your life is the same. When you are too friendly with everyone, you give equal access to people who are never meant to sit in the rooms of your purpose. Think of the sun. It shines on everyone, yes, but no one can get too close or they burn. Think of the ocean. It touches every shore, but its depths remain guarded from casual swimmers. In life, when you become accessible to everyone, you will start attracting people who come to take, not to build. They see your friendliness as an opportunity to gain something without giving anything in return. A young man told me once, "I don't know why I keep attracting fake friends who betray me." I asked him, "How do you treat people when you first meet them?" He said, "I give them everything, my trust, my secrets, my resources, my connections, because I want them to see that I am a good person." And I told him, that is exactly why you attract betrayers. Because people respect what they have to earn, not what is thrown at them for free. Many of you listening right now are bleeding from wounds inflicted by the very people you tried to help. You opened your life to them out of friendliness, not discernment. You let them sit in the seat of a confidant when they were only meant to remain as acquaintances. You shared your dreams with them when they were only meant to hear your greetings. You gave them keys to your emotions when they never even had the maturity to guard their own hearts. Being too friendly can be dangerous because it blinds you to motives. It is good to be kind, but kindness must walk with wisdom. The snake in the garden came with friendliness. It came with conversation, questions, and curiosity. But its intention was destruction. Some people enter your life as questions, others as answers. The problem is when you entertain questions as if they are answers, you will always end up confused, drained, and broken. Imagine giving your phone password to every stranger because you want to prove you have nothing to hide. One day someone will use that access to destroy what you worked hard to build. Your life is more precious than a phone. Your heart is more precious than gold. Your mind is more precious than diamonds. Why do you give everyone access to it just to appear friendly? Look at nature. The rose is beautiful, admired by all, but guarded with thorns. The porcupine is gentle, but protected by spikes. The pufferfish is calm, but poisonous when threatened. Yet humans think that to be loved, they must have no thorns, no spikes, no boundaries, no protection. This is why many are eaten alive by wrong relationships. Friendliness without boundaries attracts users. Love without wisdom attracts abusers. Openness without discernment attracts deceivers. Some people come to your life because they see your destiny, not because they love you. They see your open friendliness as an entry point to gain what they want. And when they get it, they leave you empty. How many times have you helped someone rise only for them to ignore you when they arrive? How many times have you given your resources to someone who later pretended they never knew your struggle? How many times have you given your ideas to people who took the credit and left you invisible? This is what happens when friendliness replaces discernment. There is a time to hug, and there is a time to withhold your embrace. There is a time to share your story and a time to keep silent. There is a time to welcome visitors and a time to lock your gate. The tragedy of being too friendly is that you attract people who do not honor access. They see you as an easy route, not as a divine connection. In your workplace, if you are too friendly with everyone, you will attract those who dump their responsibilities on you. They know you will not say no. In your relationships, if you are too friendly, you will attract those who never plan to commit, but want all the benefits of commitment. In your family, if you are too friendly, you will attract relatives who use guilt to drain your resources for their laziness. In ministry, if you are too friendly, you will attract followers who idolize your gifts, but never honor your discipline, and they will mock you the day you correct them. People are watching how you manage your access. The wrong ones look for people with no boundaries because it is easier to manipulate them. The right ones look for people who know their value because it assures them that your relationship will be built on honor and respect. When you are too friendly, you leave your destiny unguarded, and anything unguarded becomes vulnerable to destruction. Some of you wonder why people treat you like an afterthought, why they walk past you in meetings, why they talk over you in conversations, why they never take your ideas seriously. Let me tell you something that will shake your thinking today. Being too friendly makes people lose respect for you. The truth is, people respect strength wrapped in kindness, not desperation disguised as friendliness. Imagine you walk into a bank manager's office. She welcomes you with a warm smile, offers you a seat, and listens attentively to your requests. But imagine halfway through, she starts laughing nervously at every word you say, apologizing for speaking, agreeing with everything you suggest, even if it is unreasonable, and constantly seeking your approval to finish her own sentences. Would you trust her decisions? Would you feel confident she can handle your money with authority and wisdom? No. You might like her friendliness, but you will leave that office doubting her capacity. That is exactly what happens when you live your life trying too hard to be liked. People start enjoying your presence but stop respecting your position. They invite you to parties but exclude you from decisions. They call you when they need to vent but never when they need direction. They keep you around for comfort but never for counsel, because your friendliness tells them that you care more about their opinion of you than you care about standing firm in your truth. Think about the teacher in school who let you talk through the entire class because they didn't want to appear strict. You laughed, enjoyed it, felt free, but deep down, you never respected that teacher. Your favorite teacher was probably the one who smiled with confidence, taught with clarity, corrected with firmness, and guided with love. They were approachable but never desperate for your approval. That is the difference between friendly authority and desperate friendliness. I met a young woman who told me her colleagues never take her seriously. She said, "They treat me like a little sister instead of a professional." I asked her how she carries herself around them. She said, "I always laugh at their jokes even when they mock me. I buy them coffee every morning so they see I care. I never correct them because I don't want them to think I'm rude." And I told her, that is why they see you as a little sister. You are parenting their egos instead of positioning your influence. Your friendliness should never silence your standards. People lose respect for you when they see that you have no spine. When you agree with every suggestion in the room, they realize your convictions are for sale. When you laugh at every insult thrown at you, they realize your dignity has no price. When you tolerate every disrespect just to maintain peace, they realize you are at peace with being treated like nothing. Imagine a judge sitting in court smiling sheepishly at the defendant, joking with the lawyers, apologizing for passing judgment, and asking everyone if they are okay with her verdict. Would anyone respect her rulings? Her role demands a balance of compassion and firmness. Your life is no different. Your destiny requires you to show compassion without surrendering your authority. People will never follow someone they do not respect. They will use you, enjoy your presence, consume your resources, but the day you try to lead them, they will mock you. Look at the eagle. It soars with grace, but it carries an unspoken authority. No bird plays with an eagle. The lion sits in calmness, but every animal steps back when it walks. The ocean washes the shore softly, but the ships respect its power. Even the earth beneath your feet is silent, yet holds the weight of nations. The lesson is simple: strength does not have to shout, but it must be felt. Your friendliness is not supposed to hide your strength. It is supposed to reflect it with grace. Some of you have destroyed your marriages because of this. You think by never disagreeing with your partner, by laughing off disrespect, by tolerating negligence, you are maintaining love. But love without respect becomes pity. You think your children will love you more if you let them do what they want without correction. But children raised without respecting their parents grow into adults who ignore their wisdom. You think your friends will leave you if you correct them when they are wrong. But friends who leave you for your truth were only companions for their convenience. I remember speaking to a man who said his employees never take his instructions seriously. He said, I treat them like my brothers and sisters. I sit with them at lunch. I give them free days off. I never reprimand them. And I asked him, do you want to run a family gathering or a business? He said, a business. I said, then you must understand respect comes before relationship and leadership. Your job is to be respected first, then loved. Because respect creates order, and order sustains growth. Being too friendly is the fastest way to lose your influence. People follow clarity, confidence, and conviction. Friendliness is beautiful only when it flows from a place of strength. Weak friendliness attracts pity, not respect. It attracts mockers, not followers. It attracts abusers, not protectors. When you realize this, you will understand that your first responsibility is not to be liked by everyone, but to stand boldly in who you are so that those who are assigned to your destiny will recognize your voice and honor it. Every day you wake up with dreams burning in your chest. You wake up with visions, assignments, targets, and goals crying out for your attention. Yet, by the time the sun sets, you wonder why you are still stuck in the same place, why you feel empty despite being busy all day. Let me tell you something that will pierce through your mind today. Being too friendly is stealing your productivity. It is robbing you of the very hours that were meant to build your destiny. You see, when you are too friendly, everyone assumes you are always available. They call you for conversations that add no value to your life. They drop unplanned visits at your house because you never say no. They send you long messages about their drama and expect immediate responses. They know you will abandon your work to listen to their gossip, their complaints, their fears, and their laziness. You have become their emotional trash bin because your friendliness has advertised your time as free. Imagine a surgeon in the operating room about to perform a life-saving procedure, and suddenly someone walks in saying, "Hey doc, I just want to talk about how my neighbor annoyed me this morning." If that surgeon puts down their scalpel, takes off their gloves, and starts discussing neighborhood drama, what happens to the patient on the table? That is what happens to your dreams every day you abandon your purpose to entertain people who are not building you. Your visions bleed out on the table of your destiny because your friendliness makes you abandon them for empty conversations. Some of you can't finish your assignments because every time you sit to focus, someone calls you, and your friendliness won't let you ignore them. You end up giving hours to people who never give you minutes of progress in return. You are writing your book, then a friend calls to gossip about their partner. You put down your pen and engage in a 1-hour draining conversation. You are planning your business strategy, then someone texts about irrelevant jokes, and you pause your mind to reply with laughing emojis just to appear nice. You are meditating and suddenly someone bangs your gate with unannounced visits, and you abandon your silence to entertain their noise. This is why your goals remain unfinished. This is why you keep feeling tired without results. This is why you feel busy but remain stagnant. Productivity demands discipline of your time, but friendliness opens your gates wide for every distraction to enter. It is not that you don't have time. It is that you give your time to everyone except your own destiny. People who are going nowhere love spending time with people who are going somewhere because it makes them feel like they are moving while standing still. Look at an eagle when it hunts. It focuses with deadly precision. It does not chat with pigeons along the way. It does not stop to play with sparrows. It locks eyes on its assignment until it captures it. The lion, when it is hungry, isolates itself to hunt. It does not roar around to entertain hyenas. It focuses, moves silently, calculates, and strikes. Even nature teaches you that productivity requires isolation from unnecessary noise. Some of you are too friendly to say, "Not now, I am working." You are too friendly to say, "Please don't visit without calling, I have important goals to finish today." You are too friendly to say, "I will call you back after my study session." You fear being called rude so much that you would rather disrespect your own destiny than risk offending someone's feelings. But let me ask you, do they respect your time? Do they care about your goals? Do they carry your burden of unfinished dreams at night? A man told me, "I don't understand why my business ideas never manifest." I asked him to describe his day. He said, "I wake up early, check in with all my friends to see how their night was. I chat with them for an hour, then someone calls me to help them with errands, so I go. Then I meet up with a group to hang out. Then I come back and try to work on my ideas, but I'm too tired." And I told him, Your dreams are dying at the hands of your friendliness. You see, people with purpose are not rude. They are just unavailable to distractions. They don't entertain every call. They don't attend every gathering. They don't reply to every message immediately. Their time is an investment, not a donation. They know that productivity demands focus, and focus demands saying no to what does not build them. Think about the farmer who wakes up before sunrise to plant seeds. He does not stop halfway because someone wants to chat about village gossip. He knows his harvest depends on his discipline, not his friendliness. The pilot flying an aircraft does not pause in mid-air to entertain passengers with personal stories. He focuses on his assignment because lives depend on his productivity. In the same way, your future, your family, your finances, your calling, your health, they all depend on your ability to guard your time from unnecessary friendliness that adds no value. When you are too friendly, you will always find yourself running out of time to build yourself because you are busy building everyone else's comfort at the expense of your own calling. You will reach the end of the week exhausted, but with nothing to show, feeling drained and unfulfilled, wondering why life seems stagnant while others are advancing. It is not that they are better than you. It is that they protect their productivity with boundaries while you sacrifice yours on the altar of unnecessary friendliness. Have you ever wondered why you feel so tired, even though you didn't do anything physically exhausting today? Why your mind feels heavy, your chest feels tight, and your spirit feels like it's carrying unseen weights? Let me tell you something that will awaken your inner clarity today. Being too friendly is draining your emotions dry. It is leaving you feeling empty, weak, and used up by people who have no intention of ever pouring back into you. Imagine your life as a well filled with clean, fresh water. This water is your peace, your strength, your creativity, your clarity, your ability to show up for your purpose every single day. But when you are too friendly, you allow everyone to come with their buckets and fetch from your well freely. They come with their complaints, and you listen for hours. They come with their burdens, and you carry them like it is your personal assignment. They come with their emotional chaos, and you absorb it into your soul just to show them you care. Soon, your well becomes shallow. Soon, the same people who fetched from you will complain that your water is drying up, not realizing they are the ones who drained you. Think about your own life. How many times do you end a phone call with someone and feel so heavy afterwards? You were in a good mood, focused and peaceful, but one call filled with their worries, gossip, and negativity suddenly drained your energy. They feel lighter after dumping it on you, but you walk away feeling burdened by issues that aren't even yours. You were meant to inspire and uplift others, but because of unnecessary friendliness, you have become their emotional dumping ground. I remember talking to a woman who said she always feels tired, anxious, and restless at night. She told me, "I don't even do anything hard during the day, but I feel like collapsing." I asked her how she spends her time. She said, "People come to me with their problems every day. They cry to me, complain to me, argue with me, and I always sit there listening, advising, and comforting them." I asked her, "When was the last time you sat quietly just to refill yourself?" She went silent, because she realized that while she was giving everyone water, she never paused to refill her own well. Some of you are not depressed because you failed in life. You are depressed because you have absorbed everyone else's chaos. You carry your friends' financial burdens, your relatives' emotional trauma, your colleagues' complaints, your neighbor's family drama, your siblings' relationship problems. You walk around smiling, but your spirit is suffocating under the weight of issues that were never yours to carry. Your kindness has become a doorway for emotional thieves who steal your peace daily. Think about the battery in your phone. It has limited power. Every app you open drains it bit by bit. If you open too many apps at once, your battery drains faster and your phone overheats. That is exactly what happens to your emotions. Every conversation you entertain drains a little of your peace. Every complaint you absorb drains your joy. Every gossip you allow drains your clarity. Every toxic person you keep drains your strength. Before you realize it, your soul is overheating with anxiety, stress, and sadness, and you wonder why you feel like exploding from the inside out. Look at the sun. It gives light to the earth, but it never dims itself to make others shine brighter. The ocean gives water to the clouds, but it never runs dry because it is constantly refilled from within its own depths. The tree gives fruit to humans and animals, but it never stops absorbing nutrients from its roots. The problem with you is that you keep giving without returning to your source. You keep pouring out friendliness without boundaries. You keep entertaining people who have no intention of watering you back. People who are emotionally drained can't think clearly. That's why you can't make decisions with confidence lately. People who are emotionally drained can't create powerfully. That's why your ideas feel blocked. People who are emotionally drained can't stand strong. That's why your resilience is weakening. You keep telling yourself, I just need to sleep. But sleep does not heal emotional drainage, boundaries do. When you are too friendly, you sacrifice your peace on the altar of people's approval. You wake up tired, spend your day tired, and go to bed tired. Your mind is constantly running through everyone's problems like a broken radio. You replay conversations, overthink their reactions, worry about their feelings, and forget your own. It is like carrying a backpack full of rocks that aren't even yours to carry. You bend and bend until your spirit feels like it will snap in two. Some of you have given so much emotional energy to others that when it comes to your own needs, you have nothing left. You are like a candle burning to light everyone's path, while your own wax melts into oblivion. You help people find solutions to their problems, but your own problems remain untouched. You motivate people to keep going while you are secretly crying yourself to sleep. You encourage people to pray while your own spirit feels dry. Because your friendliness has become a silent betrayal of your own well-being. You were never designed to be everyone's emotional carrier. You were designed to inspire, to influence, and to lead. But you cannot do that with an empty spirit. Even the river overflows only because it remains connected to its source. Your emotions are powerful, but they are not infinite. Every time you allow yourself to be too friendly with no boundaries, you bleed energy from your spirit. People leave feeling lighter, but you walk away feeling like a shadow of yourself, wondering why life feels so heavy when it used to feel so beautiful. Have you ever sat there staring at a simple decision, paralyzed with fear, overthinking every possible outcome, wondering what if you're wrong? What if they get angry? What if they walk away? What if they judge you? Do you know why you feel that way? It is because being too friendly has trained your mind to always seek other people's approval before moving forward. You have spent so long being the agreeable one, the nice one, the peacekeeper, the flexible one, that now your spirit has lost its ability to stand firm on a decision without needing external validation. Every time you silence your true opinion just to keep peace, you teach your brain that your voice doesn't matter. Every time you say yes when your soul screams no, you weaken your inner authority. Every time you wait for others to agree before you take a step, you rob yourself of the divine courage you were born with. And slowly, you become a person who doubts their own intuition even in the simplest matters. You can't choose what to wear without wondering if they'll approve. You can't decide who to date without asking 5 friends. You can't make a career move without everyone saying it's okay. Because your confidence has been dismantled by your excessive friendliness. Think about the eagle. It does not ask the sparrows if it's okay to fly high. It spreads its wings and soars to heights others cannot handle. Imagine an eagle asking the sparrow, do you think I should fly this high today? The sparrow will say, no, stay here with us. It's safer. Many of you have been asking sparrows for permission to fly. You keep shrinking your wings to make them comfortable. You keep ignoring your own instincts because your friendliness has programmed you to think their opinions are more valid than your discernment. You see it in your daily life. When someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, you pause and think, if I say no, will they still like me? When you get an opportunity to relocate, you pause and think, if I move, will my friends and family think I'm abandoning them? When you want to start a business, you pause and think, if I start this, will people support me or laugh at me if I fail? This is how you begin to lose the most powerful force within you, your self-trust. Being too friendly trains you to always accommodate others, even at the expense of your own destiny. You no longer make decisions from a place of purpose, you make them from a place of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of disapproval, fear of being labeled selfish, fear of being alone. And what is life when you are living it for everyone but yourself? You become like a tree bending in every direction the wind blows. People respect trees that stand tall, rooted deeply into the earth, unshaken by passing winds. I met a young man who told me, "Sir, I can't even choose what to study at university. My father wants one thing, my mother wants another, and my friends keep suggesting something else." I feel lost. I asked him, what do I you want? He went silent. Tears filled his eyes. He said, I don't know. I've never asked myself that. That is what happens when your life has been programmed to please others. You become a stranger to your own desires. You lose confidence in your ability to hear your inner voice. And when you lose confidence in your decisions, you lose power over your life. Imagine going to a restaurant with a group of people and you're so afraid of choosing what you really want to eat because you don't want to seem different. So you say, I'll have what you're having. They order beef steak, but you wanted grilled fish. Now you're chewing beef steak with resentment burning in your chest because you betrayed your own choice. If you can't choose your meal confidently, how will you choose your life path confidently? The small decisions you keep surrendering are training you to surrender the big ones too. Your confidence is not built by their approval. It is built by courageous action. Every time you decide with conviction, you strengthen your confidence muscle. Every time you choose based on purpose rather than popularity, your leadership potential expands. People follow confident decision makers, not those who sit in confusion waiting for validation. When you are too friendly, you will keep shrinking your voice to make others comfortable, and soon your spirit will forget what it sounds like. I want you to remember, the lion never consults the antelope on where to hunt. The sun never asks the earth for permission to rise. The river never asks the rock if it can flow around it. They move with confidence because it is in their nature to do so. Confidence is your nature, but excessive friendliness is suffocating it. That is why you keep delaying decisions, overthinking choices, asking unnecessary opinions, and doubting your own greatness. You were never created to live in confusion. You were created to lead, to decide with clarity, to speak with authority, to stand firm on your truth without trembling before people's reactions. When you lose confidence in your decisions, you become a puppet controlled by people's moods, opinions, and approvals. They say jump, you ask how high. They say stop, you freeze. They say go, you run blindly. And life becomes an endless performance for an audience that isn't even paying attention to your pain. But when you reclaim your confidence, you take back the steering wheel of your destiny. You realize you do not need permission to walk in your purpose. You do not need approval to be who you were designed to be. You do not need validation to take the next step that your spirit knows is right for you, because your life is too valuable to be lived at the mercy of other people's preferences. There are people in your life right now who were sent to shift your destiny, to open doors you have been praying for, to teach you wisdom that will shortcut your struggles, but you cannot even see them because you are too busy entertaining the crowd that drains you. Being too friendly keeps you surrounded by people who were only meant to pass through your life, not dwell in it. You keep holding on to acquaintances that were only meant to teach you one lesson and go. You keep making everyone your friend, so there is no space for true divine connections to come in and sit at your table. Imagine a farmer who has limited space in his barn. If he fills the barn with stray animals wandering on the street, when his prize cattle arrive, there will be no space for them to enter. The cattle will wait outside, exposed to wolves and danger, because the barn is occupied by animals that do not even belong to him. This is what happens when you keep being too friendly with everyone. You fill your life with people who have no assignment in your destiny. And those who carry keys to unlock your next level stand outside, unable to come in. Every time you say yes to people who don't deserve your time, you say no to the divine connections you've been praying for. That wise mentor you keep postponing meeting because your so-called friends want to hang out again this weekend. That strategic business partner you keep ignoring because you're too busy helping people who only call you when they need a favor. That person of character who wants to date you, but you keep entertaining toxic admirers out of friendliness. Your excessive friendliness is blocking the very connections that were ordained to take you out of your current limitations. You must understand, not every friendly person is a divine connection. Some people are distractions. Some people are decoys. Some people are assignments you must serve and release. Some people are simply background noise. But divine connections carry a frequency that resonates with your purpose. When you are too friendly, you miss that frequency because your spirit is too entangled in unnecessary associations. You can't hear the sound of your destiny because you are dancing to the noise of the crowd. Look around your life. Who drains you after every conversation? Who leaves you feeling small, empty, or guilty for wanting to grow? Who only calls you when they need you but disappears when you need them? Who keeps you tied to gossip and meaningless chatter when you should be building, studying, planning, and praying? These are the people taking up the seats of divine connections. Their presence in your inner circle is blocking your visibility from those who carry answers to the questions you've been crying about at night. There was a young woman who spent her days trying to keep everyone happy. She attended every friend's party, replied to every gossip group, gave money to people who never appreciated it, and went out of her way to make sure nobody was offended by her choices. But she noticed her life was stagnant. Her dreams were unfulfilled. Her relationships were shallow. One day, a wise old lady told her, "Child, your life is overcrowded with people who have no business being there. That is why those assigned to your destiny cannot find you. Clear your path." Those words hit her like lightning. She started distancing herself from meaningless associations. She began spending time with people who challenged her thinking. She started saying no to unnecessary invitations. Soon, doors she had knocked on for years began to open. Opportunities she thought were impossible began to locate her. Why? Because she made room for divine connections to find her. Some of you are still stuck in the same cycle because you keep seeking comfort in the familiar crowd. You refuse to let go of people who are no longer aligned with your next season. You keep holding on to friendships just because of history, ignoring the mystery they are blocking. You keep calling people bro and sis who don't even value your existence beyond what you give them. Your friendliness is costing you your destiny encounters. There is someone who will hear your idea and fund it in one day. There is someone who will hear your pain and heal it with one sentence of wisdom. There is someone who will see your potential and recommend you for positions you never dreamed of. But you cannot meet these people if your life is filled with the wrong crowd. Divine connections do not thrive in crowded, confused, noisy environments. They thrive where purpose is clear, where boundaries are set, where your spirit is free to discern who is for you and who is against you. Many of you are delaying your elevation because you are too busy being liked by everyone. The truth is, divine connections are not always flashy. They don't come with applause. They come with alignment. They come with purpose. They come with deep conversations that ignite your dormant gifts. They come with correction that pierces your ego to birth your greatness. They come with love so pure it exposes every fake friend in your life without them even trying. But you will miss these connections if you keep giving your precious time and energy to people who have no vision for themselves, let alone your shared future. You must learn to guard your inner circle like a sacred gate. You must learn that every yes to unworthy friendships is a silent no to the people God has ordained to push you higher. You must understand that being too friendly makes you accessible to everyone. And when you are accessible to everyone, you become common. And when you become common, divine connections can no longer find honor in your presence because your value is hidden under the crowd. Being too friendly breeds manipulation, because people quickly realize that you have no boundaries. And when a person has no boundaries, they become a tool in the hands of others. Have you ever seen a carpenter who treasures his hammer? He uses it for every nail, every job, every task, without thinking about the feelings of the hammer. That is exactly how manipulators see overly friendly people as tools to achieve their goals. They see your soft heart as a free ticket to control your decisions. They see your kindness as a weakness to exploit. They see your inability to say no as an open gate to drain your time, your energy, your ideas, and your resources. There are people in your life right now who know you are too friendly, and they are planning their next move to use that against you. The colleague who always dumps their tasks on your table because you are kind and helpful. The friend who borrows money every month with emotional stories they know will make you say yes. The family member who constantly calls you to fix problems they created because they know you will never refuse. Every time you respond out of excessive friendliness, rather than wisdom and discernment, you train them to keep manipulating you. There was a young man who thought being friendly was the key to being loved. At work, he did everyone's tasks just to avoid conflict. At home, he ran errands for grown adults who sat watching TV while he was sweating in the sun. In his relationship, he spent all his savings on someone who did not respect him. One day, exhausted and broken, he sat down and asked himself, why do they keep using me? Why do they treat me like an option? The answer was clear: because he allowed it. Because manipulators seek out the overly friendly like bees seek nectar. They know you will give your time, your money, your skills, your ideas, your energy, your emotions, and never demand accountability or respect in return. People will pretend to love you just to gain access to what you carry. Manipulators will study your emotions, your fears, and your deepest insecurities so they can say the exact words that will break your guard down. They will tell you, "You're the only one who understands me," just to keep you attached. They will say, "Nobody else can help me but you," just to keep you enslaved to their needs. They will flatter you, applaud you, praise your friendliness, and once they have squeezed out what they want, they will disappear without a trace, leaving you drained, bitter, and questioning your worth. Have you ever seen how a farmer milks a cow? Gently at first, so the cow stays calm. Quietly, so the cow feels safe. Softly, so the cow does not kick back. That is how manipulators operate. They start with soft words, with gentle requests, with emotional appeals, until one day you realize they have built their life on your sacrifices while you remain stagnant, tired, and resentful. You begin to feel bitterness for your own kindness, not realizing it was never your kindness that was the problem, it was your lack of boundaries. Your excessive friendliness makes you an easy target for emotional manipulators. They watch how you give and give without asking for accountability, and they mark you as a supplier for their greed. They will never tell you you're being used because they benefit from your blindness. You keep thinking your friendliness is making you loved, but it is only making you available for exploitation. There is a difference between being kind and being naive. There is a difference between being loving and being blind to manipulation. If you do not learn this difference, you will spend your entire life giving to people who are only with you because of what they can take from you. One day, you will wake up and realize you are surrounded by people who don't love you. They love your benefits. They don't respect you, they respect your sacrifices. They don't value your presence, they value your usefulness. That is why you must learn to protect your energy with the same vigilance you protect your bank account. Your emotional energy is your wealth. Your time is your currency. Your kindness is your gold. And manipulators are after these treasures. They don't care about your dreams, your health, your peace of mind. They only care about what they can squeeze out of you before you collapse. There is a woman who spent her life pleasing people, saying yes to every request, lending money she didn't have, giving time she couldn't spare, attending events she didn't want, listening to gossip she despised, all because she was too friendly to say no. One day, her body broke down under stress, and as she lay in hospital, she realized none of those people came to visit her. None offered to pay her bills. None prayed for her healing. They simply moved on to the next overly friendly person to manipulate. That day, she made a decision to never again let her friendliness make her a slave to manipulative people. If you keep being overly friendly without wisdom, you will live your life under the control of people who don't even value your existence beyond what you provide. They will keep extracting from you until there is nothing left but an empty shell of who you were created to be. Your gifts will remain buried. Your dreams will remain unfulfilled. Your peace will remain absent. And they will move on to the next giver with no boundaries, leaving you wondering why life feels so unfair. When you are too friendly with everyone, it reduces your value in their eyes, because what is easily accessible is rarely treasured. Think about this for a moment. If diamonds were scattered all over the streets like sand, no one would fight to own them. No one would guard them in vaults. No one would pay millions to wear them. Why? Because they would be common, and what is common is never respected. Your excessive friendliness makes you common. It makes you lose that aura of respect, dignity, and distinction that comes with knowing your worth. Have you ever walked into a store and seen an item without a price tag, and when you ask the price, the owner says, "This is not for sale"? Immediately, your perception of its value increases. You begin to think, why is this so special that it's not for sale? You see, it is the same with people. When you are too friendly, too available, too accessible, people subconsciously devalue you. They say, "Oh, he will always be there. She will always answer. He will always agree. She will never say no." Your friendliness becomes your curse because the world is programmed to respect scarcity. That is why gold is locked in safes. That is why luxury cars are not mass-produced. That is why the tallest mountains remain unconquered by the masses. Rarity creates value, and excessive friendliness destroys rarity. In your workplace, if you are too friendly, people begin to think you are unserious. They start to think you have no backbone. They see your kindness as foolishness and interpret your humility as incompetence. You will notice that promotions bypass you, opportunities ignore you, and people you helped rise will look down on you. Because the sad truth is that humans respect confidence, and sometimes being too friendly makes you look like you lack confidence. When you lack confidence, people place a discount label on your destiny. They buy your time for cheap. They use your energy for free. They never consider your worth because you presented yourself as someone who does not understand their own worth. There was a man who worked in a major firm. He was talented, smart, and highly skilled. But his problem was he was too friendly. He laughed with everyone even when they disrespected him. He agreed to every task dumped on him even when it was outside his role. He let colleagues insult him in meetings, and he smiled to keep peace. One day he watched as a younger, less experienced colleague was promoted over him. He asked his boss, "Why was I overlooked when I do so much for everyone?" The boss said, "Because you have made yourself everyone's helper, but no one's leader. Leaders are respected. Helpers are used." That day he realized his excessive friendliness had reduced his value in the eyes of the people he wanted to impress. In relationships, when you are too friendly, too giving, too available, people start to feel like you're replaceable. They begin to treat you casually, ignoring your sacrifices, disregarding your feelings, and disrespecting your loyalty. You will hear them say phrases like, "You're too nice," or "I know you'll always be there no matter what I do." They may even leave you for someone who sets clear boundaries, because human nature desires what is not easily possessed. This is not about being harsh or arrogant, but about carrying yourself with dignity. Excessive friendliness makes people feel like you are desperate for their presence. And desperation is never attractive. It is always repulsive. Imagine an employer interviewing two candidates. One walks in with a smile, confidence, clarity of words, and firm boundaries about what they can offer. The other walks in overly friendly, eager to agree to anything, desperate to please. Who do you think the employer respects more? The one who knows their value. Because friendliness without boundaries looks like desperation, and desperation always reduces value. Look at the sun. Every morning it rises from the east, and people wake up in awe. But imagine if the sun never set and it remained midday forever. Would we still respect its beauty at dawn? Would we still pause to admire sunsets? Would we still write poems about its rising? No. It is its disappearance that makes us anticipate its return. It is its distance that makes us respect its power. It is its boundaries in the universe that make it a force we cannot play with. Likewise, your value is maintained by your boundaries. When you are too friendly, people do not take you seriously because they know they can cross every line you draw. They know you will smile while they disrespect you. They know you will help them succeed even while they sabotage your own growth. If you want to maintain value in this life, you must learn to balance your friendliness with firmness, your kindness with clarity, your generosity with boundaries. When people see that your time is valuable, they will respect your appointments. When they see your energy is sacred, they will seek permission before demanding it. When they see your presence is not free for all, they will treasure every moment they spend with you. But when you are too friendly, you become like salt in the ocean, present but unnoticed, necessary but uncelebrated, important but never honored. Your life becomes a public highway where everyone drives their agenda over your destiny because you never built gates to protect your value. When you are too friendly, you end up living your life for others and not for yourself. You wake up each morning wondering who you need to please today, who you need to call back, who you need to comfort, who you need to check on, who you need to sacrifice your sleep for, your energy for, your dreams for. And in doing that, you abandon yourself. You leave your dreams hanging like cloves on a line in a storm. You leave your goals like an unwatered plant in the desert sun. You leave your purpose unfulfilled because you are busy making everyone else's purpose easier. Listen to me, life is not about being selfish, but if you spend every breath you have trying to please the world, you will die with your lungs empty of purpose. You see, I have learned something powerful. The people you bend over backwards for will often walk away without even looking back to see if your spine healed. The people you inconvenience your goals for will rarely pause their own goals for you. The people you are too friendly with, the ones you always say yes to, the ones you never want to offend, will sleep peacefully at night while you cry yourself to sleep wondering why you feel empty. You feel empty because your life is no longer yours. It has become a community project. Anyone can contribute an opinion. Anyone can shift your plans. Anyone can decide how you spend your time. And when your life becomes a community project, you will never see its original blueprint again. Have you ever seen a woman who spends her entire life saying yes to everyone? She says yes to the boss who dumps extra work on her desk, yes to the colleague who never respects her deadlines, yes to the family members who use guilt to control her, yes to the friends who only call when they need her, yes to the partner who keeps taking her kindness for granted. One day she wakes up and looks in the mirror and realizes she no longer recognizes the woman looking back. Her eyes are tired, her smile is forced, her dreams are dusty, her peace is missing. She asks herself, what happened to me? What happened is simple. She was too friendly. She gave away pieces of herself to everyone until nothing was left for her own soul. When you are too friendly, you allow people to build their empires using the bricks of your destiny. You let them climb ladders to their dreams on your back while you remain crawling in your purpose. You become like a candle that lights up every room, but remains burning at both ends, dying before your time. It is good to help people. It is noble to serve, but there is a difference between service and slavery. And when you are too friendly, you become a slave to opinions, to expectations, to people's moods, to their acceptance and rejections. You walk around like a puppet, pulled by strings of approval, seeking validation for your every breath. I have met men who abandoned their visions because they were too friendly to say no to people who didn't believe in them. I have seen leaders reduce their standards because they were too friendly to correct their team. I have seen visionaries bury their ideas because they were too friendly to offend mediocrity. I have seen sons and daughters grow old carrying the burdens of family expectations, unable to live the life they want because they are too friendly to disappoint tradition, too friendly to disappoint culture, too friendly to disappoint society. So they disappoint their souls instead. One day a man was sitting at a park, tired, empty, and lost. A stranger walked up to him and asked, "Why do you look so defeated?" The man replied, "Because I spent my whole life making sure everyone else was happy. I helped them build their dreams. I gave them my time, my energy, my money, my strength. Now I am old and I realize I never lived for myself." The stranger smiled sadly and said, "You remind me of a tree that gave its shade to everyone but had no roots deep enough to draw water for itself. And so it died standing, serving till its last leaf fell." That is what excessive friendliness does. It makes you die standing, smiling, serve but empty. You must understand that you were not born to live your life according to people's expectations. You were born with an assignment, a unique blueprint etched into your spirit. Every day you abandon that blueprint to satisfy another person's temporary need, you delay your destiny. Every day you say yes to things you should say no to, you postpone your progress. Every day you give up your time for things that do not build you, you are digging a grave for your dreams, because life does not pause because you are too friendly. Time does not freeze because you are sacrificing yourself. Opportunities do not wait because you are busy making sure no one is offended by your truth. When you are too friendly, you live for others, and living for others sounds noble until you realize that those people are living for themselves. It sounds spiritual until you realize that your spiritual purpose is dying unfulfilled. It sounds righteous until you realize that righteousness without wisdom becomes foolishness. Stop living for others at the expense of your life. Because when your grave is dug, the world will mourn you for a few days and move on. But you will stand before your Creator to answer why you abandoned the purpose He planted within you to please the people He created just like you. You have spent your life thinking that being too friendly is your strength. But I want you to understand today that a strength unbalanced becomes a weakness. You cannot keep emptying yourself for people who would never pour back into you. You cannot keep saying yes out of fear of being disliked, rejected, or criticized. Because listen to me, whether you live for yourself or for others, people will always have something to say. Whether you speak your truth or swallow it to keep the peace, someone will still misunderstand you. So you might as well choose to honor your soul instead of their expectations. People will call you arrogant when you set boundaries. But remember this, a river that has no banks becomes a flood, and a flood destroys everything in its path. Banks give the river direction, purpose, and power. Boundaries give your life direction, purpose, and power. Don't let the fear of people's opinions make you live like a flood when you were designed to flow like a mighty river with focus and impact. You were never born to be available to everyone at every time for everything. You were born to be purposeful. You were born to be intentional. You were born to guard the oil in your lamp, because when your oil runs out, no one will give you theirs. Stop apologizing for being focused. Stop apologizing for choosing peace over chaos, purpose over popularity, growth over gossip, and destiny over distraction. Stop apologizing for choosing yourself. Because the truth is, nobody cares about your future as much as you do. Nobody feels your silent tears at midnight when you know you're behind on your goals. Nobody hears your heartbeat racing with fear of failing your assignment on earth. Nobody sees the sacrifices you make to hold yourself together when the world is tearing you apart. You owe yourself loyalty before you owe anyone else friendliness. You owe your dreams the commitment you give to other people's comfort. Let them call you rude for saying no. Let them call you selfish for protecting your time. Let them call you proud for refusing to be used as an emotional dumping ground. Because at the end of your life, their opinions will not build your legacy. Their comfort will not write your story. Their approval will not make you fulfilled. You are the one who will stand at the end of your days with either regret or gratitude for how you spent this gift called life. Remember, lions do not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Eagles do not come down to argue with crows. The sun does not stop shining because the blind cannot see its light. And you must never stop pursuing your destiny because the world cannot understand your value. Your value is not in how many people like you. It is in how many lives your purpose transforms. Your worth is not in how many friends you keep around you. It is in how much truth you live every single day. Greatness is not for the overly friendly who seek approval. Greatness is for those who choose obedience to purpose over acceptance by people. Peace is not for those who please everyone. Peace is for those who are authentic with themselves. True success is not for those who are liked by all. It is for those who fulfill the reason they were born. So rise up today and tell yourself, I am no longer a prisoner to people's opinions. I am no longer a slave to friendships that drain me. I am no longer a victim of being too friendly. I am powerful. I am focused. I am disciplined. I am committed to my assignment. I will no longer live my life to keep people comfortable while my dreams remain uncomfortable. I choose purpose over popularity. I choose my peace over people's praise. I choose my destiny over distraction. Because in the end, only those who live with boldness will die with fulfillment. If you want to fly like an eagle, stop walking with chickens. If you want to roar like a lion, stop purring like a kitten. If you want to rise like the sun, stop dimming yourself to make others comfortable in their darkness. This is your life. Live it boldly, guard it fiercely, and walk in it unapologetically.